Well, it seems that Manchester United is not taking the opportunity of selling Harry Maguire for granted, and the club has immediately started making a move for a new centre-back. If you guys are not aware, it's been confirmed that many news websites are suggesting that Manchester United and West Ham have reached an agreement for Harry Maguire to join West Ham on a 4-year deal. The deal is rumored to be worth £30 million, which is absolutely fantastic. Honestly, at this point, I just want Manchester United to have a flow of cash. There's an upcoming video on the channel regarding Manchester United's exit list where I will be talking about all the players who have the potential of leaving the club and providing the club with more budget for the rest of the transfer window and paving the way for new signings such as Sofian Amrabat. But in this video, we're going to talk about alternatives to Harry Maguire because this piece of news is absolutely massive and can be a direct indication of the plan that Ten Hag has in mind for Manchester United to play in the long haul. So what we're going to do is that we're going to talk about the potential formation and how it's going to be executed, as well as the alternatives to Harry Maguire. So stick with me until the end of this video. As soon as the news broke that Harry Maguire, despite his initial interest to stay in Man United, will leave for West Ham, Benjamin Pavard's name was linked to Manchester United, and it's not the first time his name is being linked to the club. But the story gets more and more interesting when you find out that not only the club is interested in Benjamin Pavard, but the club is making a move for Jean-Claude Todibo as well as Edmund Tapsoba. The last name might not ring a bell for you guys. He's playing at the moment for Bayer Leverkusen. This piece of news is legit since Fabrizio Romano has also confirmed the names we just mentioned. Now, what we're going to do is that I'm going to draw comparisons and similarities between all the players based on their stats, and I'm going to let you guys know which player I would go for. But first things first, let's talk about the plan that Erik Ten Hag potentially is up to. It seems as though that Ten Hag plans to execute a 3-6-1 formation at times, where he needs a center back who has good ball control and has pacing abilities to prevent counterattacks to happen and can also make passes happen where they matter. The last of which was an ability that Harry Maguire never had as a CB, was the ability that he lacked. That looks to be the main idea that Ten Hag has for the team, and that's the reason why all three of these players we're going to talk about have the potential to be the right fit. Now, first things first, let's talk about Benjamin Pavard. It is clear as a day that he's more experienced as opposed to the other players. He is of course 27 years old and has participated in big matches including World Cup final, whereas Todibo and Tapsoba are not that experienced, one of whom is only 23 years old and the other one is 24 years old. Another thing to notice is that while Pavard is primarily a right back who can play as a center back under specific circumstances, Todibo is a heavily right-sided center back who has the ability to play as a right back as well. Tapsoba, on the other hand, in comparison to the other two players, has played all over the defensive side. If Ten Hag happens to go for versatility, Tapsoba's profile I think is the more suitable one. Were I to choose between all the options, I would certainly go with Benjamin Pavard because I think the element of experience goes a long way for a center back, but I can't help but to be curious to know what you guys think and who you guys would go for. Regardless of who ends up in the club, what is really promising about this move is that clearly Ten Hag has a vivid plan of how he wants the team to play, which is fantastic to any Manchester United fan in the world, in my humble opinion. Honestly, I don't want to overhype anyone, but it's been a while since we have had a manager who knows what he asks of his team and how he wants his players to play. I think this is a unique period that we are experiencing since we can see its manifestation on the transfer market of the club as well. For the first time in a long time, the transfer summer of Manchester United is not all over the place, and I think this is another positive impact that Erik Ten Hag has had on the club, and as a Manchester United fan, I'm not going to take his efforts for granted. Had you told me 3 years ago that this is the kind of impact that Erik Ten Hag will have on Manchester United, I would not have believed you. But at the same time, the future of the club looks brighter than ever under Erik Ten Hag. Though I'm really excited about the future of the club, I have my own concerns as well. For instance, I for one can't help but wonder how this 3-6-1 formation will play out in action. To my knowledge, this is the first time in a long time that Manchester United might play with this formation. Of the players we have right now, I think Andre Onana and Shaw are more familiar with how to operate through this kind of formation. But as far as other players are concerned, I'm not that sure. Let's wait and let's see what happens. So that's it with the comparison of the players and the formation that Ten Hag has in mind. Definitely share your thoughts about the players. Who would you choose between all of them, and the formation that Erik Ten Hag potentially has in mind. Share your takes on the formation, whether you like it or you think it's not just the right fit for Manchester United. That's a wrap for this video, guys. Thank you so much for sticking with me until the end. I really appreciate it. Consider subscribing to Always United for latest Manchester United news, and leave a like if you found this video informative. If you want to check out more Manchester United news, here are some suggestions. Until next time, guys, it's been a pleasure serving you.